watching the Mystical Green Beanie.
Hey, what's going on, dudes and dudettes? I am the Mystical Green Beanie, and welcome to my best of, worst of review for Deadpool 2. Now, as always, this is going to be a spoiler-filled review. That means there's going to be spoilers in this video. I made it a point to let you know that twice over, once in the title and once in the introduction. That way you don't have to go to the comment section and complain about me spoiling the movie. So, thank you. And without further ado, let's get into it. As always, starting off with my positives, let's talk about the stuff that I loved. Let's talk about the best of. And the first thing I want to thank this movie for is understanding what kind of character Deadpool is. Because a lot of times people just write Deadpool off as the funny guy, even though there's more to it than that. Godzilla Mendoza, who is a wonderful YouTuber, by the way, you should definitely check him out if you haven't already, said in his review, or I guess it was more of a critique of the Deadpool video game, that the problem with Deadpool is that a lot of people oftentimes like to take the comedy of Deadpool and disregard the tragedy. Even though that's not how that works, comedy and tragedy are two sides of the same coin. You can't have one without the other. It's like wanting to be a college student while also wanting to retain your sanity. No. If you want a good comedy, especially a Deadpool comedy, you have to accept the tragedy that comes with it. And this movie just does what a lot of other Deadpool content is just afraid to do. Cough, cough. That said, the humor itself is great. A lot of the jokes that are made at the expense of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, the DC Extended Universe, and the Fox Marvel properties are really funny. Because a lot of times with parodies, especially superhero parodies, a lot of those jokes just do not hold up. But the Martha joke will always be there. The joke about Hawkeye being a useless Avenger will always be there. And that's actually a problem that I had with the first film. I feel like a lot of those jokes are like cemented in 2016 and 2015, and I really appreciate the writing for this film because I don't think that this movie is necessarily going to have that problem moving forward. There were also a lot of jokes that were aimed specifically at comic book fans, and I know that because there were moments in the film where a joke was told, like a very, very specific comic book joke was told, and me and my nerd friends were laughing, but everyone else in the theater was like, I don't get it. I don't get it. The main one was the Rob Liefeld joke. And for those of you who don't know, Rob Liefeld is a famous comic book writer and artist who co-created Deadpool, and he is notoriously bad at drawing feet. And they make a joke about it, and I'm laughing, and my buddy's laughing, and my other buddy's laughing, and my other buddy's laughing, and my other buddy's laughing, and everyone else is silent. And we're just like, oh, that was just for us. But that's not to say that like 90% of the jokes in this film are going to be references that only comic book fans will get. It's about like a good 80-20. Like 20% of the jokes I think are going to go over the audience's head because they're made specifically for comic book fans and not the general movie-going audience. The choreography in this film is also fantastic. It does have the same problem that the first Deadpool movie has, where sometimes the actors look like Stretch Armstrong action figures running in front of a green screen, and it's pretty noticeable. But like I said in my review for Infinity War, 2013 was the year where superhero films had peak CGI. The Wolverine had great CGI. Man of Steel had great CGI. Thor: The Dark World actually has pretty good CGI. And then everything else after that just kind of took a nosedive. Just CG in superhero movies just looks bad now. So, I don't know what happened, but that's just something that's across the board. That said, the characters move and they fight like those drawings in those funny books that I spend egregious amounts of money on a weekly basis. Therefore, I'm happy. Finally, I want to mention the side characters because I think they're great. Zazie Beetz is a great Domino, and Josh Brolin is fantastic as Cable. I'd say they nailed their characterizations, but let's be real here. Cable and Domino are just generic male and female 90s comic book characters. Like, they're very interchangeable with any character that was created by Marvel or Image from that decade, so I'm not really sure what it would mean to say they nailed the character. That said, they do their jobs and I like them a lot. Durpinder is also hilarious, and come to think of it, he actually has a character arc, which is pretty satisfying to watch. But yeah, those are my biggest positives with this film. Now let's get into my negatives. Let's talk about the things I didn't like so much. Let's talk about the worst of. And I only really have one worst of, and it's the CGI. Because when it's good, it's great. And when it's not, Justice League called, and they said they want Henry Cavill's poor attempt at a deepfakes back. Yeah, it gets that bad sometimes. And I'm not even a stickler for CGI. Like, for God's sakes, the Speed Racer movie is one of my favorite films of all time, and that is a George Lucas prequel era wet dream. But yeah, the CG quality is pretty inconsistent throughout the film. And I'm looking at you, Juggernaut. You look like you walked out of a Pixar movie and onto the set of a live-action film. But yeah, I love this movie. This is everything that I want from a Deadpool film. And more so than that, this is just everything that I want from Deadpool in general. But those are my thoughts on the film. But what about you? What were your thoughts? Did you like it? Did you not like it? Let me know down below in the comments section. Also, if you like this video, hit the like button, share, support the channel. And if you want to see more content like this, all you have to do is subscribe. I'm the Mystical Green Beanie. Thank you for watching. And as always, until next time, adios, nachos. Adios.